Seventh grade, again, we're doing a little better than the state in both the proficient and advanced categories, and a little better than the state in both the needs improvement and warning categories. So again, over time, as kids become better readers, we're beginning to see that push forward for them. And then in the historical results, again, we see some flat stuff happening, particularly in the needs improvement and warning categories, and that's where this whole AYP thing comes into play for them. The cohort comparison, though, when you look at 7th grade, again, we're seeing growth in terms of the number of students who are scoring at the advanced level, and we're seeing less kids in the needs improvement and warning categories. So again, as a group of students moving through, we are seeing some gains with them. At the 8th grade, nothing real striking one way or the other in terms of the comparison with the state. We're pretty much on par with them.
So do you and your staff then look at where the, I don't want to call them gaps, but needs are probably a better word, and then target that like you were saying?
That's one of the steps that we need to take
Okay.
in terms of how do we get.
So it doesn't matter if it's ELA or math or whatever,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
it's targeted.
so now what parts of the test did they not do well in, and what does that
So
tell
the
us?
data that you get here is your identification methodology for doing that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this begins the conversation, really. And again, with 8th grade, we're seeing in advance a shift towards the left. We're seeing more and more of our students scoring at the advanced level. It's 13%. Yeah, again, these are not the same kids, but again, we're seeing some growth. So it says that, you know, these teachers are looking at the data and saying, gee, what do we do to help improve instruction? And that was part of the whole process behind the new reading series, was that we knew we needed to do something to have that happen. And then again, looking at them as a cohort, it's fairly flat once you get to 2007. There's some huge gains that are made between 5th and 6th grade, and then it kind of flattens out a little bit in grades 7 and 8. So, and then we get to our 10th grade friends, and obviously after a couple of years of instruction and becoming better and more mature readers, we do really well compared to the state at the 10th grade level, particularly in the advanced category. I mean, 42% of our kids scored advanced versus 29% at the state, and that is statistically significant. Our proficient levels are on par. Our needs improvement and failing rates are very small, and the failing rates are probably some of our more significantly challenged students. 10th grade, again, our growth over time, there is, again, you can see a shift where teachers have been using the data well, and again, just trying to boost those numbers at the upper ends of the spectrum, and decreasing the number of students over time that are in that improvement and warning category. And again, as a cohort, you can see from grades 7, 8, and 10, and this has to do with how the test has been administered over time. That's why some of the cohort analyses don't have as many years in them as others. But as you look at it, again, there's been some huge gains made over time with this particular group of students. And these are our current juniors. This would have been when they took the test last year as sophomores. So that's the English language arts story. Any questions or thoughts?
Do the students get their results?
Yes, they get mailed home to parents. All of that has gone out to the schools, and you've been stuffing envelopes, haven't you? No, you haven't? Oh, tomorrow is envelope stuffing day.
By Thursday. I just know I have to get it done by Thursday.
So, yeah. And
It's
then
not
they'll
there
come-
yet, that's right.
Yeah, so, yeah, the boxes came in last week, and there are letters that have to go out, and so everything has to get sorted through and folded and stuffed and all of that fun stuff.
Looking back on that English language arts, we're into what, our second year now of a new reading series?
Yes.
We're just beginning the second
So we
year.
really will not see probably the impact of whatever changes have gone on in instruction with that program, probably for another year or so as
Yeah.
far as
Yeah.
test results for
Yeah.
MCAS.
And oftentimes when you implement something new, there's a phenomenon known as the implementation dip. So we actually may see a little bit of a dip while teachers are doing the learning curve, so, again, that's something that we want to think about. So here's our mathematics story. And again, as you can see, at third grade, we're pretty much on par with the state. When we look at how we're doing in math, you can see that the historical record, again, not the same children, but we're making some strides in terms of the numbers of children who are scoring at the advanced level, and we're making some strides in terms of the numbers of children who are scoring in the warning level. Needs improvement stays a little bit flat, so again, that's something we need to keep our eyes on. And of course, they don't have a cohort, so in fourth grade, again, we're neck and neck with the state, so that's the good news. Historically, we're still struggling with the numbers of kids overall who are scoring here. We've seen some changes for the better in terms of the number of students that are in warning, so now there are more students in the needs improvement category. But again, we can see that shift into proficient. What we need to do is try and work on the advanced level. And when you look at them as a cohort, they struggled a little more this past year than the year before. And so again, we just need to look at where are the skills that they're breaking down in, so that we can try and get them the help that they need. Fifth grade, same story, pretty much neck and neck with the state, and nothing really significant there. And again, the year-to-year stuff, we had, back in 2006, we had 30% of the students who were at that warning level. We've decreased that down to about 19 to 21%, so that's a good shift. But again, still need to address some of those issues. And then as a cohort, their results are still pretty flat, some variance here and there, but some things that we need to take a look at and watch carefully. Sixth grade in math, again, pretty much neck and neck with the state overall. Historical numbers, again, are from about 2007 on pretty flat, but that changed from 2006 to 2007 saw some real improvement. And then as a cohort, they've done well. You see, back in third graders, only 2% of them scored as advanced, and now in sixth grade, 19% of them have. So there's been quite a bit of growth over the years with them.